All right, welcome back. It's been a while since I did a video here. If you're new to the channel, this place is called Grayscale Mansion by the viewers, because I told the story a year or so ago about how I bought this place after the last crypto run. I was in Grayscale. I'm hoping many of you are able to buy a place of your dreams, whatever it looks like after this cycle. We'll see. It could be a lake home, could be just paying off your mortgage, whatever. In this video, and there's a lot of background noise here with people working on stuff, so just bear with me a little bit here. And I still sound like shit. I'm getting over a cold and flu. The flu is pretty much done with, but cold is still hanging on a little bit. And it's drizzling today, which doesn't really help, but I'll still make a video. I wanted to talk about a couple things related to Grayscale and the broader crypto markets. I want to talk about the delayed crypto start, the state of the trust right now, how the private placements have maybe affected or might affect the trust moving forward, and just a couple things related to that. So I'll just kind of get into things. First of all, there are a lot of people that are losing faith in crypto and in the Grayscale trust. I see comments like on my channel, I see comments on Caesar's channel, elsewhere. And to me, this is, an indication of like a new crypto investor, a new Grayscale investor, first timer. Basically, they've got these, they have these hopes and dreams and they wanted them to play out very quickly. And because things are delayed for whatever reason, they're losing hope. That's fine. Everybody goes through their own journey and stuff. But, people who are a little bit more savvy, a little bit more seasoned realize, well, it's just a delayed start. Actually, I want to talk about why a delayed start is beneficial to you and me and to anybody else, right, to start with. Okay, so initially I was like, things are late. There's some downsides to a late start and some downsides to missed opportunities I'm going to talk about in regards to rotation in just a second. But the benefits to a delayed start are this: assuming, and I'm hoping to God, the trusts don't take off for like another week to 2 weeks at least. I would like to cross a calendar year because it's a tax year. And on January 2nd, my plan is when the banks open, I'm going to transfer some money into my IRA accounts, my son's and mine, and his UTMA account, because I can do that. I'm crossing over in tax year. And if the trusts haven't taken off yet, hopefully they still haven't taken off, I'm hoping for a little bit more of a delay, then I'll be able to invest some additional money into the trust that will benefit him and I for the long run. And you do not get this opportunity very often. Crypto cycles only happen about every 4 years. So the fact that we are crossing into a new tax year, new calendar year, is extremely beneficial to anybody that wants to put additional money into an IRA or into a UTMA for their kid. So I'm gonna do it. So anybody that's out there that's thinking about this or that hasn't done it already, like, you still have an opportunity. I mean, it's what you do is up to you. This isn't financial advice, never is. But I look at that as being a huge benefit. I like the fact that I guess all my crypto gains probably are going to be contained within one calendar year. And I don't think it'll happen, but just there's like this outside hope that maybe tax rates will be even lower in 2025 with the change in the administration. Maybe some laws get changed. Maybe the tax rates come down a little bit. I have no idea. I'm not going to count on it, but I'm certainly fairly sure they're not going to go up, which is good, because I think they would have gone up had the election gone a different way. But so I think it's good. I like the delayed start from that standpoint, that you still can put some money in to the Grayscale Trust or to native crypto or to like MicroStrategy, Coinbase, the Bitcoin miners before we hit rocket launch season. And I don't know when that's going to be. Obviously, this crypto cycle is a little bit delayed, right? And there are some things that I don't know exactly why, right? There are a lot of, this is like macroeconomic shit. Nobody can say for sure, but this cycle is different than last, for sure. I mean, like early indicators of different actions in this cycle were Digibyte for the past 2 cycles took off, started its run like in April of those cycles. Didn't do it this year. This cycle is probably going to run with the rest of the altcoins, probably. So that's that was like an early indication to me that things were different. And obviously we've had a delayed start. Last cycle, the LTC and BCSG took off like in November, and we're way past that. We're going to be January probably before things take off. So a 2-month delay. That's pretty big. Now, okay, so let me just talk about some thoughts about the cycle length and opportunities potentially lost in regards to trust rotation or rotation between assets more broadly. And then I'll talk about private placement and its effects or potential effects on the trust prices, all that kind of good stuff. So the fact that we have a delayed start, nobody knows when the altcoins are really going to take off. Some altcoins have had really nice pumps, like I've talked about Stellar Lumens, XLM. It did a nice 5x in a really short period of time, and it surprised people, because XLM, people, a year and a half ago were making fun of XLM. They're like, it's a stable coin, it's not moving. Same shit they say about Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and other cryptos. It doesn't move, and it looks pretty stable until it actually moves, and then it surprises people, and that's when FOMO kicks in. And that's like, ideally, as a crypto investor, you want to get in when things are dead, right? Ideally, in the depths of the bear market. Not everybody goes all in the depths of the bear market. I'm going to try to next cycle, because you get the best returns there. But the fact that we've had a delayed cycle. Okay, so what drives the cycle? First of all, like for altcoins, and that would affect the Grayscale trust. First of all, like the money flow usually focuses first on Bitcoin, and then it moves to like the large caps like Ethereum, and then the mid caps like Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, stuff like that, and then the smaller altcoins, right? That's the general flow of capital in a crypto cycle. Now we've got this cycle where things are different than last cycle. So we've got Trump talking about, basically creating like a Bitcoin reserve for the United States. That's pretty huge. What will that do? If money stays focused on Bitcoin for longer than usual, then longer than it has in past cycles, we could have a little bit of a delay still. I don't know how long it's going to be. If money is still focused on Bitcoin itself before it starts to flow to the altcoins, right? We could have that. I don't know how, what that's going to look like. We could see Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin, hit $250,000 this cycle or more. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? We don't know. There are a lot of macroeconomic stuff that is being factored into everything. But what I would say is this: the larger price point that Bitcoin itself can reach, it means just really good things for the altcoins. Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Stellar, everything. Basically, that's in my opinion, it's gonna mean really good things. I think, and I think this is gonna, like, even next cycle, it could be really big as adoption grows and awareness grows. Especially if like this is like the first real year that the U.S. president is talking about a crypto reserve. Yeah, because 4 years from now we'll be talking about Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin and Ethereum being used as reserve assets for the U.S. or for other countries. It could be very huge. Okay, so that could affect like the timing of when things kick off now, and I don't know exactly when that's going to be. None of us do. I just hope that we have a couple more weeks before things take off, so I can get more funds into my IRA, my son's IRA, my son's UTMA account, and anybody else that wants to can do the same. So that's the way I see it. And everything is contained within one tax year. I kind of like that too, so that's all good. I'm not worried about it. Okay, so let me talk about, I got a little bit of yard work happening next door, so hopefully it's not interfering too much. But okay, let me talk about the potential loss of some rotation options. So when I've talked about rotation in the past, I've talked about, potentially being able to rotate some of your LTCN or BCHG profits into the smaller trusts like HZen or ZCSH, etc. You can do this rotation too with native crypto, or even go into other assets that haven't really popped off yet, like Bitcoin miners, etc. Your ability to do this is really going to depend on when things pop off, and at what point you are comfortable with taking profit, some or all of whatever you're into, and selling some of it or all of it off and rotating into another trust or another stock, of some kind. We don't know when things are going to pop off. The worst case scenario for us, which would basically remove a lot of the rotation options this cycle, would be if Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin basically took off at the same time as the smaller altcoins, because then your ability to rotate is very limited. Typically though, there might be still some options left for rotation in a brokerage account with some of the smaller trusts, because like if you look at like Zcash, Horizon, stuff like that, and Ethereum Classic and Mana as being 4 options that we have Grayscale Trust for, they're probably not all going to take off at the exact same time, but probably very close. So you got to watch, and you have to kind of have a game plan. I've talked about this, like you should come up with a game plan beforehand, and obviously adjust your game plan as the conditions change, but come up with a game plan as to what you might want to do if you're going to do a rotation. Some people don't want to do a rotation, and that's fine, totally fine. Nothing wrong with not doing it at all, but you can enhance your gains if you make the right moves. And a lot of times you don't know the right moves until everything's over, until you look at the charts and you're like, I should have sold, here. We all do that. Nobody has a chart they can see into the future. It'd be nice if we had that, but we don't. Okay, so let me talk about private placement and its effects on the trust. Somebody, like a whiny ass bitch, was made a comment on Caesar's channel or my channel, or in the past couple of weeks, and they were whining about the fact that I hadn't talked about the private placement effect on the Grayscale trust. Well, if they had been watching my channel for a while, I did. I went on a tirade. I think it was like in January, when this first kind of came out and was shared on our Discord server, and I was pissed because I didn't know how big the expansion of the trust was going to be. Now, a lot of people didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I ended up taking that video down like after a week or two because I was like, okay, well, I don't want to be a fear monger. It pissed me off because it threw in like an unknown, and I don't know. I haven't recently been paying attention too much to the trust, but I think the trust, just spitballing it, are probably like 30% bigger right now than they were, say, in January. Okay, so that isn't a doubling or a tripling of the size of the trust, so I'm not concerned about it. If the trust had doubled in size or more, I'd be concerned about it. But a 30% increase or so in the size of the trust, I'm not really that concerned about. It might dampen the returns that we get in terms of like the premiums being lower than what they otherwise would have been, just because we have more shares in the trust. It could be, but also it's like there's more interest in the trust, so that could also benefit us too. I don't know exactly what effect the private placement shares are going to have on the premiums in the bull market. I don't know if they will have basically no effect, if they will hurt us, if they will help us. I don't know. The private placement shares that were purchased, I think, if memory serves me correct, and I could be wrong, look this up if you really want to know the details. I think people were saying they had like a 6-month lockup period. So people that bought into these, like invested like in January, February, like they already reached their lock-in period if it was a 6-month period, and were able to start selling in August. Wouldn't have really been a wise thing to do, because like prices in August were kind of where they were in January, February. So I don't know how many, if any, of the private placement investors have actually sold their shares. Typically, what has happened in the past, and Caesar made a note of this several months ago, he was talking about this too, is that what usually happens when private placement shares get unlocked, when investors can first get on the market and sell them on the open market, they usually do so very quickly, and the price dumps big time. I don't think that's happened yet. Obviously, they've had shares be purchased through the private placement over the course of several months. So we're going to see continual unlocking of shares over the next, into the crypto bull run. I don't know what effect that's going to have on the share price and the premiums specifically. We're going to find out. I don't know. There's nothing we can do to say Grayscale shouldn't increase the shares. I mean, even a year ago, the shares were much bigger than they were the previous cycle, right? So it's like we've got, and this is good. It allows more people to get in. You need this, otherwise you have a small investment opportunity. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of effect this is going to have. It could be a moot point. It might not matter, but I don't know. Nobody does. So it's kind of an unknown wild card. What else I want to talk about in returns to the trust? The trusts right now are at a price for LTC on a BCHG kind of where they were like at the beginning of the year, which is kind of odd, but it's also like an opportunity for people who want to get in, kind of last minute to do so, because when these things pop off, I think it could be pretty violent, pretty quick. And then you've lost an opportunity. Like you might have lost like a 3 to 5x when things pop off by the time that's the FOMO stage. And this is where actually, I think a lot of first time investors got in like in March when we had kind of the unnatural run-ups in the trusts, is this is like the impulsive greed, right, that people have, especially like for new investors, but it affects everybody. Even me, I was like, oh shit, the trusts are taking off. I need to get in and get more shares. But especially for like newcomers, this is like, they see this and that's the FOMO, right? They see things taking off. It looks like a rocket ship is about ready to launch. They don't want to miss out. And so they buy in. And then there's a big correction or crash that in this case lasts for quite a while, right? So, and so they're like, I'm down on my investment. And so they're irritated, they're pissed. They're like, these trusts are shit and that kind of stuff. And it's like newbie mentality. Because where we are right now in terms of price, like all you got to do is zoom out, man. All you got to do is zoom out. Look at like a 3-year, or actually look at a 5-year, like graph of LTC and BCHG. Look where the prices are right now and where they were last cycle. And I think, and other people think too, for good reason, that they're going to hit higher price points than they hit last cycle. But just look at the 5-year, look at the charts, look at where they are right now, and look at where they got to. We are so far away from where they were last cycle. We're gonna do really well. I don't know how well, and this is like, okay, now I got the landscapers blowing shit. So I don't know how well you're gonna hear me. But here's the deal. I don't know how well we're gonna do. It was a year ago. I remember it was last Christmas vacation. I was down here. And this is about the same time that Cesar was coming out with videos where he was talking about potential cycle highs for LTCN, BCHG, and some of the other trusts. And they were just like incredible, like 50x plus returns. And I was like, holy shit. And I was doing videos out here. I remember this. I was also still talking about dividend ETFs, which I'm now out of. But by the way, I'm going to do a video where I talk about some of the stuff that I'm thinking about getting into for dividend ETFs to try to increase, my accounts after the bull run. So if you're interested in that, watch for that video. And stuff is subject to change, obviously. I just watch where things are going, which is good because then I kind of get an idea of like past performance of these ETFs, because I do not want to decrease my wealth by going into them, which you can get burned if you go into some of these high yielders that just have massive NAV erosion. You don't want to waste time or money when you're doing this kind of stuff. So I'll do a video where I am right now, thinking like what I might get into. And again, like I said, it's all subject to change. But yeah, I think I covered the stuff I want to talk about with Grayscale, the questions I've gotten in regards to the private placement, its effects on it, like a summary of that. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be that bad, honestly, because we didn't double or triple the size of the trust. We just like increased them by like 30% or so. And somebody's gonna come up with an exact number. I don't care. We haven't doubled, and so I think we're okay. Like, I don't know what kind of effect it's gonna have. Nobody does for sure. I like the fact that we have a delayed start, because like I said, it gives a last minute opportunity to get some funds into an IRA or UTMA account to ride this cycle. And I did not think I'd be able to do that, like for my son's Roth or my son's UTMA account. And I'm like, better believe I'm gonna do it. January 2nd, first banking day of the year, I'm gonna transfer money into my brokerage account, so then I can buy it pronto as soon as I can into assets. I might go into some different trusts, like to kind of split it up. I think I might split some of the investments probably into ETCG, the Ethereum Classic, ZCSH, the Zcash, and to HZen, and maybe Mana too, those 4 trusts. With a little bit of money, like take $7,000, split it up, put a little under $2,000 in each one, and just see how they do. Because I don't know when they're gonna pop off. None of us does. And this is like one of the things where I'm kind of changing my strategy. I'm like, well, worst case scenario, if LTC and BCHG basically start popping off at the same time as HZen and Mana, GCSH and Ethereum Classic, there's no room for rotation at all. So I don't know, that's where like in my son's Roth, I'll probably split it up between those 4 smaller trusts. And it's not a lot of money to put in there, like $1,800 a piece. I'm gonna see what happens. And if there is room for rotation, if the timing does work out, I'll try to do rotation in that, because his Roth is really small, right? It's gonna go, Ideally, I'll probably have like 12 grand in it. First week in January, and that's not a whole lot of money. So it's like I'm in the scheme of things. So it's like I'm gonna try to move money around and do a lot of rotation there. It's tax free when I do that, so I don't have to worry about short term or long term cap gains on that. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you guys would like me to talk about something else, you got something else that's bugging you, something else you'd like to hear from me about, let me know in the comments below. I will do a video, a couple of videos. I'm gonna do a video on like things I've learned as an investor and a YouTuber over the past year. I did this last year. It was kind of fun. I'll come out with that. And then I'm probably gonna do a mindset type video, like just in regards to like wealth and success, because a lot of people, I think, need some help with that, especially new people. And it's super easy to get very wealthy and to become very successful in this world if you just do like some basic shit that most people just don't ever think to do, because the world is full of stupid people. It's true. There's a song by The Refreshments. I love this song when I was in my 20s. It was called Banditos. And one of the lines in that song was, the world is full of stupid people. And it is so true. And it's not that stupid people are bad. It's just that if you view the world as full of stupid people, then also some bad people, that you can take advantage of it. As an investor, as a business owner, as anybody who wants to become successful, just take advantage of it. And there's nothing wrong with taking advantage of it at all. You should not feel bad. Like most people, just to briefly talk about this, are consumers. They want to buy the shiny object, right? And so we could say, well, you shouldn't do that. Like, it's not the best thing to have. But here's the deal. If people are consumers and they want to buy the shiny object, then be the smart guy in the room and create the shiny objects that they want to buy. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I'll talk about that in a separate video. That's it for this one. We're over 20 minutes. I'm going to leave it here. Hope you guys are doing well. And the voice of AI is here again in this video. Anyway, this has been a fun ride for YouTube. I've gotten called AI, basically. It sounds like I'm AI, my voice. I've gotten called the call leader. A couple other things too, which are just awesome. I just kind of put them in my trophy belt as a YouTuber out here. It's been a lot of fun. But that's it for now. I'll catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a nice Friday. Take care.